Today is Pascal's triangle, just trying to help you learn how to expand things out. Mentioned it in yesterday that you didn't know how to expand something raised to the third power. So today we're going to learn something called Pascal's triangle. And we are going to just talk about different ways of expanding. Basically, that means to FOIL things out. Now, if you would, take a second. I want you to expand out the first example, the second example, and if you need to, remember that that is x minus 7 times x minus 7. If you said it's going to be x squared minus 49, nope. You've got to do your FOILing, and you should be able to get your x squared minus your 14x and then your plus 49. Now, second one, remember that is 2x plus 5 times 2x plus 5. Now, I want you to start to try to get it so you don't have to actually do your first, your outside, your inside. Yes. When you do your first, it's 4x squared. Got it. The outside is 10x, the inside is 10x, so that is my 20x. And then my last is plus 25. Now, here is what I want you to be able to see is that there's going to be some kind of a pattern. Remember, you did your first term squared, you did your outside, your insides, that's two of the same here in the middle, and then you did your last squares. Pascal's triangle is a pattern. So when you take a look at the pattern, and if I was there live in front of you, I always say that I always like it to be a triangle, so I put a 1 on top. Some people don't put that 1 on top. The first line is 1 and 1. The second line is 1, 2, 1. And the third line is 1, 3, 3, 1. You should be able to start to see a pattern. So if you think you know the pattern, go ahead and write it down. I know that it's 1, 4, 6, 4, 1. Notice that it's increasing one term every time we go down. Now, some of you see the pattern. I know that. Others of you don't. So look, the 1 and the 2 above makes the 3. The 3 and the 1 above make the 4. Same idea with the 3 and the 3 make a 6. So now I'm going to be quiet. You guys write down the next row. And you should have gotten 1, 5, 10, 10, 5, 1. Now, what are we going to use this for? This is going to be something raised to the first power. This is something raised to the second power. This one at the lowest value and goes up. Okay, I will color code those when I get there. So here we go. We're going to do some binomial expansion. So for this first term, it's raised to the fourth power. Do you see your coefficients? I'm going to take a lot of room. We can always move that 3x to the, or 3x plus 4 to the third down a second. So first coefficient is 1, second coefficient is 4, third coefficient is 6, next one is 4, and 1. So I spread those out so you could see those. So now I'm color coding. This first term is x. It starts at its highest power. The highest power it can go to is the fourth power. So this becomes x to the fourth. And then the next term becomes x to the third. And the next term becomes x squared. And the next term becomes x. And the next one is x to the 0. And everybody better remember x to the 0 is 1. So now let's look at the 7. I'm going to have 7 to the 0 power because it said the other term starts at the lowest and goes up. 7 to the first power, 7 to the second power, 7 to the third power, 7 to the fourth power. Now, these are all plus signs because it was a positive, so it's plus, 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 plus. We'll have to get into some negative signs when we go into a minus sign instead of a plus sign. Now, I would expect you to clean this up, meaning what is 1 times x to the 4th times 7 to the 0 power? It's x to the 4th. That's my first term. Add it on to what is 4 times 7, 28, and that gives me x to the 3rd. So what's the next one? And you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know them all off the top of my head, so I brought out my calculator. 7 squared is 49 times 6 turns out to be 294. And that's x to the 2nd. And then 7 to the 3rd power is 343, and then I have to take that times 4 yet. That would be 1,372x. And then 7 to the 4th power is 2401. And that is my final answer. I expanded that without having to do any FOILing. There is binomial expansion. Okay, so we're going to try this again. We're going to look at letter B. We're going to put letter B down here, and that is our 3x plus 4 all raised to the 3rd power. Now, we need to come back up here for a second. When I come up here, 3rd power has 3. Notice where the pen is crisscrossing right now. So I'm going to use the coefficients of 1, 3, 3, 1. Okay, so I'm going to use the coefficients of, oops, let me get my pen down here, 1, 3, 3, 1. They're all positive, so I'm just going to put a little plus sign and a little plus sign and a little plus sign. Now, got to be careful with this first one. So my first term is not x, it's 3x. So I am going to have to take the 3x, notice it's in parentheses, and I'm going to have to cube it. And I'm going to have to take the 3x, and I'm going to square it in that term. And I'm going to take the 3x, and I'm going to raise it to the 1st power. And I have a 3x raised to the 0. A lot of times I don't even write that out, but I want you to see me descending. The second term is a 4. 4 to the 0, 4 to the 1st, 4 to the 2nd, and 4 to the 3rd. So again, I am not going to do this in my head. I'm grabbing my calculator and I'm clearing it out. I do know 3 to the 3rd is 27. Oops, let me get my black pen in here. That gives me 27x to the 3rd. That's my first term. I know 3 squared is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 27 times 4 is going to be 108. And that would be x squared. Added on to 4 squared is 16. And then I have that times a 3. And I have it times another 3. And I come up with 144 x to the 1st. And then this last one, this blue turns out to be 1. So 4 to the 3rd power turns out to be 64. I just expanded that cubed term. Okay? So what happens if there is a minus sign? The first term, notice how I'm pointing at the 27x cubed, is always positive. And then we're going to alternate. Then it's going to be a minus sign, a plus sign, a minus sign. So what happens if we alternate signs? Alternate signs. My pen's not writing. Signs. Okay, so turn the page. And when we turn the page, there's 2 more examples. Oh, but Pascal's triangle's not here. So let's write Pascal's triangle up. 1 on the top, 1, 1. 1, 2, 1. That is the squared term. 1, 3, 3, 1. Notice it has 3's in it. That's the cubed terms. 1, 4, 6, 4, 1. That is raised to the fourth power, and if I wanted to, 1, 5, 10, 10, 5, 1. That would be raised to the fifth. I only need it to go to the third. Okay, so turn the video off for a second. I want you to try C by yourself because that's the easier of the two. So stop. Okay, welcome back. So third power, 1, 3, 3, 1. Signs. The first one is positive, the second one is negative, the third one is positive, the last one is negative. We always start with a positive here. I normally don't put it, but I'm making sure that you see it. Now we do the exact same thing. My first term is x. X raised to the third power, x raised to the second power, x raised to the first power, x raised to the 0. I'm going to look at the last term. 2 raised to the 0, 2 raised to the first, 2 raised to the second, 2 raised to the third. So what am I going to do? I'm going to multiply this out. I get x to the third minus 3 times 2 is 6x squared. 4 times 3 is 12x. And then 2 to the third power is 8. That is my expanded out. Isn't that easy without foiling? Okay, stop the video one more time. I want you to try letter D. Stop. Okay, welcome back. Okay, so for D, I'm going to use the fourth power. My coefficients are going to be 1, 4, 6, 4, 1. I know that it's positive, negative, positive, negative, positive. So I've even got my signs in. For my first term, that's going to be 2x to the fourth, 2x to the third, 2x to the second, 2x to the first, and 2x to the 0 power. Again, that's about the last time I'm writing that. Second term is 3. Notice I don't say negative 3, I just say 3. So it's 3 to the 0, 3 to the first, 3 to the second, 3 to the third, and 3 to the fourth. Okay, expand this out. 2 to the fourth is 16x to the fourth. Subtract. Okay, I'm grabbing my calculator again because I don't want to goof it up. So I have a 4 times 2 to the third is 8 times 3 is going to be 96 x to the third. Add it on to 6 times 2 to the second is 4 times 3 to the second is 9, and that's 216 x squared. Subtract 4 times 2 times 3 to the third is 27. That should be another 216x. And then this last one is 3 to the fourth power, which is 81. That is binomial expansion. Notice, first term positive, second term negative, third term positive, fourth term negative, fifth term positive. The first sign you always make is a negative sign because the first term is always positive. Another little thing that some people see, but I want to make sure that you guys do. Do you see how this add it to 4, this add it to 4, this add it to 4, to 4, to 4, raising it to the fourth power. Notice here, to the third power, to the third power, to the third power, raising it to the third. There's just a lot of little patterns when you're doing these. So your homework for tonight is your worksheet and your worksheet on Pascal. And you also have a worksheet on definition of derivative. So when I get back on Thursday, you guys better have this out. We will also talk about test corrections on Thursday. Okay? So you guys Get your work done now. Use your time wisely. Goodbye.